Hi, I'm DK Will, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
How you doing, folks? I'm traveling. I'm on the road right now. I'm actually doing this from a hotel room. Mainstay, I think, is called extended stay. And I'm traveling, handling some family business. But I came across a piece of news that I think I want to cover. I looked and I saw that some of the dominant content providers also covered it, but I want to cover it and read it with you and put my spin on it and let it be my video because I think it's significant, and I especially think it's significant in the Ripple case where they're seeking fines because the Supreme Court delivers a jolt to the administrative state, and what that jolt is they denied the SEC the power to arbitrarily fine companies for fraud. It says it's a 4-minute read. You got 4 minutes? And let's read it. On the last day of its term, interesting, the Supreme Court gave a second wrenching pull to the levers of government power. Friday, the court overruled 40 years of deference to administrative agencies and ruled that courts, not agency experts, should interpret the work Congress assigns to an agency. Wow. The ruling in the paired appeals of Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo and Relentless Incorporated versus Department of Commerce, it's a mouthful, affects an even greater shift in federal power than Thursday's opinion in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission versus Jarkissi, which ruled that the Securities and Exchange Commission can't bring securities fraud cases in its own administrative tribunals. They can't try alleged fraudsters and find the alleged fraudsters when they find them guilty. That is such a powerful ripping away of a tool for the SEC, from the SEC in particular. It says the two terms and opinions are triumphs in a long campaign by conservative and corporate activists to corral the so-called administrative state that's grown in line with America's economy and empire since the New Deal in World War II. And that's just the truth, folks. They were unelected people were having the power to control our lives. And this says if a person is even accused of fraud, they get a fair trial in a court, not up to SEC to say you committed fraud. Now compare that to a non-fraud case like the Ripple case, where they are arbitrarily trying to seek fines against a company for alleged violations of securities offerings. Will this play a role? I don't know if it will play a role in removing any fines, but it must absolutely play a role in reducing fines. I think it's a strong message to the SEC to sit down and shut up. Do what you were paid to do in behalf of American investors and stop trying to corral and dictate and selectively pick winners and losers by arbitrary litigation and capture. And so I'll keep reading. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote both opinions on behalf of the court's supermajority of 6 conservative justices. Friday's opinion in Loper reserves a doctrine it set 40 years ago in a Reagan-era environment case involving the energy firm Chevron. The Chevron doctrine said that when interpreting ambiguous wording in a federal statute concerning an agency's work, judges should generally defer to interpretations by the agency experts. Administrative law practitioners see lots of work ahead. The decision has the potential to overhaul the ways in which laws are drafted, interpreted, and implemented, said Holland and Knight attorney Rich Gold. Not only will the decision transform the delegation of authority and function of government, but also the daily lives of all Americans. Okay. That's big, because we were becoming an administrative state. And agencies were allowed to dictate your life and then ruin your life and fine you if you didn't do what they told you had to do. And now it's saying it's going to the courts because, see, fraud is a criminal offense. And so if they've taken that stand on a criminal offense, what will they do on minor misdemeanors, we'll call them, or violations of agency rules? I don't see XRP getting a huge fine. It says here, reversing the differential rule of Chevron, Friday's opinion said that the 1984 case had contravened the limits that Congress set for federal agencies in the Administrative Procedure Act of 1949. In other words, they were getting out of control and they were going beyond their purview, and they have to be reined in. Can you think of a person that has to be reined in? Can you think of a person whose name starts with a G that needed to be reined in and is being reined in? It says the dispute underlying the Loper case had to do with the Commerce Department's interpretation of the statute under which it monitored fleets that fish for herring. Writing for the majority, Roberts called the Chevron rule of deference fundamentally misguided and unworkable. Overturning the court's own previous ruling is a jolt in an Anglo-American legal system that tries to follow precedent. Justice Gorsuch addressed this awkward aspect of Loper in his concurrence by saying that the liberal Supreme Courts of the 60s, 70s, and 80s had overturned roughly 50 statutory precedents. I'm not political, but can you see a shift coming, folks? And I'm not going to read this whole thing, it's too much. But what I also see, if you recall, when Trump was in office, one of the things he focused on was judges. And another thing he focused on was lawyers and constitutional law and getting everyone in that proper paradigm, we'll call it. And so that's also a tenet of Gassara and the Sara folks and the global currency reset. So after all is said and done, this is all tying it in together to bring everything to an end, and it seems like it's in an expedited manner. You can read this yourself. Because this is DK, we'll talk about it. I'm tired of reading about it right now. But in an expedited manner, it's preparing the U.S. to jump on board and getting all the obstacles and potholes out of the way for the new monetary system. In conjunction with the BRICS Plus units, things that are going on, the MICA over in the EU, folks, stay level, keep yourself grounded, keep your head on a swivel. But it looks like our day is coming sooner than later. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. And I just wanted to talk about that. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.